I meet so many people who compare their hustle to someone else's highlight reel, and one of two things occurs. Either they see that and talk themselves out of the work. I can't do it, it's too hard, I don't know how they did it, I'm obviously not good enough. Or they use that as inspiration. They use that as mentoring, as a sign of the work that it takes. And even though I had this opportunity to turn around Cinnabon and my franchisees were loving me, as I mentioned, I was putting the brand in other places. And I met with the franchisees and I told them that we were doing a deal with Costco. We were gonna take tiny cinnamon rolls in a round pan with frosting drizzled, and those details matter because they're the details that differentiate from what the franchisees sold in their brick and mortar businesses and selling it in Costco. And the franchisees told me, we don't love it, but because you've done such a good job helping us with our profitability, we trust you. We all trade on trust. We trust you. And I said, great. And I had the private equity firm applauding me. We signed a multi-million-dollar deal. I had hired people for this. Everyone was getting bonuses. It was so exciting. And then 3 days later, after I announced this deal, this same franchisee, the son of the founder, Greg Coman, calls me. And he says, check your email. I opened up my email, and there was an email with only 3 letters in font size 90, Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot. WTF. Question mark, question mark, question mark. And then he had obviously leaned on the exclamation point for lines and lines. He said, you lied. You're a corporate hack, just like every other owner this brand has had. We are banding together. You will speak with our lawyers. It went from lawyer to lawyers in like 2 minutes on the call. And I said, I need you to give me more information. So he said, I'm sending you another email, open it up. So I opened it up while I was on the phone with him, and there was a photo attached. When I opened the photo, it was the shot of an inside of a beautiful Costco bakery, but what was there was not a row and a display of round pans with tiny cinnamon rolls with frosting drizzled on it, the differentiated product I had communicated and promised that that's what was launching. In fact, it was 6 giant cinnamon rolls in a rectangular box that were identical to what my franchisees sold in their business for half the price. See, you're not even in the franchising business, you know that's bad. It was bad. And I honestly didn't know what happened. I said, I need you to give me 24 hours. And he said, all right. I went and met with my team. I had a small 2-person team that was navigating this new sales channel. And what I learned very quickly is that I had failed as a leader. I'd failed in my role as president. I had been moving too fast in new channels and not appreciated that every channel, every product you may launch might have a different way it performs in its commercialization cycle. And instead of what I was used to, which is 2 years to make a thing and get it into grocery, where there's all kinds of time to communicate with people about what's happening and what's changing and what do you need to know and how is it going to affect you and all the great things leaders should do with their clients and their teams. In a matter of days, what I came to find out is that when my salesperson, who is a very creative salesperson, interacted with the head of the bakery of Costco, Mr. Fox, if anyone knows him, tell him I'm sorry again. And Mr. Fox called and said, we don't want tiny cinnamon rolls. This is Costco. We sell the actual product that people are looking for. It's the treasure hunt mentality. So I don't want the tiny cinnamon rolls. I need the big ones. Send me the recipe. And my sales guy said, okay, and sends him the recipe. I know. And I'm sure your question is, did I fire him? Not this time. Because that happened on my watch. Something I was doing and not doing allowed that to occur. So I called Greg immediately. I did what so many people and leaders don't do. Face the music, get on the phone, pick up the phone. Leave a voice note. Whatever it is in the modern world, something a little more human is always going to cut through the clutter quickly. Good news or bad news? I called Greg and said, I found out what happened. I failed in my role. I did not pay attention to the changes that could happen quickly. I am working on a plan. I need a call with all the franchisees. At this time, I was president of Cinnabon, one of multiple brands in the Focus Brands portfolio. My peers were presidents of Moe's, Schlotzsky's, Carvel Ice Cream, Auntie Anne's, and more. The CEO of the company, who of course I went to immediately to let him know what was going on, said, when you get on that call with your franchisees, I'm inviting all the other brand presidents live to sit around and listen to this call. But I'm glad it was me. And I want you to remember this phrase. Whether it's a tough conversation with a client or a team member, or navigating a difficult time when you are getting the phone calls of what's happening in the market, say first, I'm glad it's me. I'm glad it's me. Because if it were someone else who cared less, who weren't as committed to their client, to their relationships, to trust, they would not handle it as well as I'm going to handle it. That is how you transcend the game. I can only imagine at the moments when Michael Jordan had those balls at the buzzer. It's mindset. It's just mindset. And that mindset is harder to build when you have had back-to-back-to-back winning years. We are all blinded by our own progress. If we don't do these things, the competition will. My lessons in grit and resilience and being unstoppable are really about having that day one mentality even when it's day 2000. Some of the tools that I learned as I turned around that business, we did pull the product out of Costco, by the way, walked away from millions, had to fire the people I hired, and there were no bonuses. But the franchisees came to me afterward and said, we trust you. We trade on trust. 3 months later, I had the opportunity to put Cinnabon mini buns, remember those cute little things that I had gotten them to agree to launch? In 7,000 Burger Kings, which was far, far more competitive potentially than big products in Costco. But the franchisees came to me and said, because of how you handled Costco, we trust you. And I did it better this time. I did it right this time. That is what helped us triple the EBITDA of the business. That is what helped me fund the growth of the franchisees. It was my worst moment, but it became like a fishtail in the company where the franchisees would tell new franchisees about this horrible thing that happened, and the facts definitely started to blur when other people would tell the story, and I sounded like some amazing leader, yet I was the one who caused the problem. It was a painful lesson, a moment to step up and play a different game.